Okay, everybody, welcome to Hope Retreat the Ranch. I am Michael. I am a seminary student, a property manager here at the resort and recovery ranch in Sneedville, Tennessee. Today, I'm going to be talking about the truth and how we know that God is real. And it's a little testimony about me and my life and how I got here and where I believe my life is going. But like we do before everything we do here at Hope Retreat, I'm going to go into some praise and worship, prayer and meditation. I picked this song because Dr. Maxwell told me that you need to have a song that best fits you and your life and your story. And I believe this song is, and it's divinely appointed to me. It's everything that I ever could say inside my heart to the Lord. And I pray that this song reaches out and grabs your heart and helps it rest. And know that no matter what situation you're in or what you're going through, trials and tribulations, or what you've even been through, you know that there is a creator, and I'm going to share with you my testimony and how I have proof of that. So here we go.
Lord, I offer up this rebel heart, so stubbornness, so restless from the start. I don't wanna fight you anymore, so take this rebel heart and make it yours. Father, I no longer wanna run. You've broken my resistance with your love and drowned it underneath the crimson spill. So bend this rebel heart into your will. I give it over to you. I give it over to you. Your love is like an arrow, straight and true. And now this rebel heart belongs to you. Help me lay the renegade to rest. Turn the stone inside me back to flesh. And hold me till my best defenses fall. And watch this rebel heart surrender all. I give it over to you. I give it over to you. Your love is like an arrow, straight and true. And now this rebel heart belongs to you. Oh, take my life and let it be yours. Oh, take my life and let it be yours. Oh, take my life and let it be
morning, everybody, and welcome to my testimony. My name is Michael, my name is Michael Brown, but I've changed that to the adoption of a good family, which is a spiritual adoption. On my YouTube, you'll see it as Michael Maxwell on my Facebook. And I did that for a reason. You know, I talk about Michael Brown, the old man. Okay, I'm a new man in Christ, and I want to talk to y'all a little today about my testimony. And I'm not going to edit this. I'm just going to come out. I prayed before I got here. The Holy Spirit fills me and just guides me through this testimony. And what it's mainly talking about is how I have proof that God's real and that He exists and that He loves us and He works through us. No matter how long it takes, He's there, always, continuously. And, you know, it's pretty deep, you know, what I'm going to talk about. Some people might not want to let their kids hear it. I don't know. It's full of pain and sorrow, but, you know, it's me. And it's who I am and the man God's made me. So if you would please give me your attention for just a little while, I want to share with you and how there is proof that God's real. Okay, my life started in Murfreesboro, Tennessee, about 30 miles southeast in the middle there from Nashville. At the time when I was born, it's a small town, but it's a big town now. It's run into straight into Nashville from Smyrna and Laverne and the little small cities in between. It's growed, and it's like the fastest growing county in Tennessee, I believe. But yeah, I was born there. Not going to say the year because y'all know how old I am, and pretty old. You'll figure that out while I'm not testimony, but I was born there at Middle Tennessee Medical Center. I was conceived and born from Michael Randy Brown and Bobby Jean Haynes there. I can remember as a little child small things. My dad was in the military. I was almost born in Hawaii because he was based there. It was right on the tail end of Vietnam. One of the earliest memories that I have was seeing my dad, and believe it or not, I remember this. I'm kind of looking over my crib, you know, and I see my dad in the bathroom, and he's doing something with his arm. Now, at the time I didn't know what it was, but I know now that I believe he was injecting drugs into his arm. That was my earliest and first memory as a child. So that tells you that I come from a family of addiction. I come from a family of alcoholism, to fighting, violence, you name it. Everything that comes with that garbage, I come from it. I believe that, I hate to say this, but I believe I was an accident, that, you know, they actually didn't mean to have me. But I'm here, and it is a divine appointment through Jesus. I didn't know it at the time. But I'm going to skip through a few years. Pretty much grandma raised me, like grandmas do these days and days ago. God bless grandmas, you know. My mother had 3 other sisters. So it was my grandma and 3 sisters and my grandpa who pretty much brought me up, you know. Older in life, my mother's sisters was young. I don't know, I guess growing up there, it was okay. I mean, it wasn't as bad as it probably would have been if my mother and father would have stayed together, but, you know, it was basically women. Um, my grandpa, he tried to do what he could for me. You know, he would have me out in the garage tinkering around. He had a Harley, and he taught me the tools, and he taught me the measurements of the tools, and he taught me a lot of different things, and he'd even give me a little sip of his beer every now and then, you know. I thought that was big time at the time. Didn't know that, I shouldn't have never did that, right? That my life was destined to be an addict, but, you know, he did what he could, and he did it in his way. Just like my grandmother did in old age. But I remember being little, and I'd say I was about 7 or 8 at the time when a new family come across the street. I'm going to leave names out of it. But there was a boy and a sister, and he lived with his grandma. And, you know, they come around, and I'm playing with them every day and spending the night and doing what boys do, you know. His dad was in the military, Vietnam, coming out of. And his dad had a friend named such and such. I'll just call him. And him was in the military. He was a captain in the Army. He was an airborne ranger. And so, you know, being around them guys, they would take us camping, things like that. You know, didn't have a dad around, so I'm looking up to this guy like a father figure, you know, because he's around a lot. But he has to go back and forth because he's still in the military. You know, as a few years went by there, him started taking me out a little bit more. Then he would take my buddies, you know, and we'd go camping and stuff like that. And, Lord, come on, Holy Spirit. It's pretty tough. Me and my buddy would be in his house, and we'd be playing around and doing stuff like that. And that him would come in and wrestle with us and stuff like that. And then he would do things, you know. He would start doing things that I would be asking my friend, is he doing this to you? Yeah. You know, what is he doing? He's kind of touching me in places that I don't know what he's doing. You know, he'd wrestle and fondle with us. And my buddy's like, well, you know, he ain't doing that to me, you know, which he probably was. But you got to see my friend here. He was, I guess he was a little tougher than I was at the time. He didn't want to admit it. But, you know, all of a sudden, this guy, he's around more. And he's around every day. You know, he left the military, I guess. Didn't know it at the time what really happened. But, you know, he took us camping one time to a place that we used to go all the time. And we're sitting in there, and I have to tent up with this guy that night. And you know, as we were going through our nightly camping thing of eating, they're passing around bottles of Irish mist, you know, and hell, I'm just 9 years old. They're giving me drinks, and I'm kind of feeling it, you know. So I get in the tent with it, and I had the courage to ask him. I said, you know, hey, when me and James are back there listening to records and playing around, and you start wrestling with us, why do you touch us like the way you do? Well, words that I'll never forget. He looked at me, and he said, well, I'll show you why. And 9 years old, that was the day that I believe I died. My life changed forever. It was taken to a place that led me into a life of confusion, a life of pain. His addiction, uh, just hopelessness, I guess you could say. He, after he said that, he put my face in the pillow, and he pretty much raped me. Um, yeah, life changing. I thought it was me. I thought I'd done something wrong. I thought that it was because of my parents. I thought that I didn't have a dad. I was thinking all kinds of things, and as time goes on here, it just led me into a life of deep misery and addiction. And I'm 10 years old. I'm full-blown alcoholic. I'm stealing liquor. What you got to know. I think I tried to tell my family, but my grandmother was older. Like I said, it killed me. It made me go into myself where I was very withdrawn and scared, fearful. A couple years passed, and believe it or not, my mother actually gave up parental rights of me to him. So the abuse never stopped. It got worse. It got to where it became normal. It got to where I would have to get drunk so bad that I would wake up used. I'd wake up just wrecked. It's terrible. But I tried to put it, as I got a little older here, I tried to put it in the back of my mind. I tried to not think about this. I tried to, I think, be with as many women as I could. I needed proof of my self-sexuality. I needed proof that, I'm a man. This happened to me. And don't get me wrong, he's still around in my life. 17 years old in high school, I pulled a gun on him. I would fight him. As I got older, I fought him. And this man was 6'6", about 285, fully trained in military. He was a ranger. He was a badass. He could handle himself. So one good thing come out of it. He taught me how to fight. That's for sure. But I'm gonna skip through the relationships of my childhood sweetheart and the baby we had, because that's another painful thing. But we'll save that for another time. But I was living in Cincinnati, Ohio, 21 years old. I hadn't turned 22 yet. I was just about to. I'm living there with a woman and her 2 daughters, and life is great. She drives a school bus, and her daughters love me to death. And I was the type of guy where I made them lunch every morning, and I hugged them and took them to school. I'd even come into class some days and get them out of school early, and we'd run off to see a movie. Her mom didn't like that too much, but I cared for these girls. And pretty much this guy was out of my life. I didn't talk to him. I had noticed before I got there, like I would be walking somewhere and I'd look up and his car was following me. He was all around a crazy person. But I got a phone call one day. I'm sitting in there and I'm watching Oprah Winfrey, drinking beer, of course, laughing at all the people I think stupid. Get a call and it's him. And he says, Michael, he said, if you don't talk to me, he said, I'm going to come over there and I'm going to shoot your girlfriend and her 2 daughters. I'm like, what? How do you even know where I'm at? He's like, as a matter of fact, I'm at the bar across the street. So I'm like, wow. So of course I run over there. I see his car in the parking lot. And I get into his car. He's got 2 open beers there in the console. And he pulls out his gun and he sticks it right upside my head. And he said, I'm gonna kill you. Okay. At this point, okay, kill me. I just reached down and started drinking this beer. I wasn't even scared. I think I was ready at the time. He's going on about something, and at this point, I'm not even hearing him. I swallow this beer down. He goes in to use the bathroom, I guess, and all of a sudden I wake up. I'm in Tennessee. You know, I'm on the couch and my pants are being pulled on. And I wake up, I gather my senses, and I see him over me, and I hit him, you know, and I run out the house. Run down the road, I don't know how far. Bawling, crying, thinking, oh my God, you know, this is it. I said to myself, I want to die, and I'm going to die. And I ran back to his house. I knew he kept his pistol in his car. I didn't have the key for it. It wasn't locked, but he kept his gun in the trunk. So what I do is I get into the car and I wrestle the back seat open, get into his trunk. I get his pistol out, you know, sit back in the front seat. He kept his clips in the console. I take a clip out, I put it in there, and I put it in my mouth, and I pulled the trigger. I guess I didn't rack the bullet, you know, I didn't. It clicked. I'm like, oh. So I thought to myself, I says, self, I am going to kill him because he did this to me. I'm not going to kill myself. I'm just going to go in there and kill him. And you know, before I even had a chance to think about it, I went into the room. He was already back in his bedroom. And he's kind of awake, you know, half asleep, half awake. And I walk in there and I point the gun to his head. He tries to get up. I kind of move him, I grab him, you know, and I said, get over here, you know, whatever. And he's kind of like on his hands and knees over there on the side of the bed. And I don't know what gave me the thought or the reason behind what I was fixing to say to him. And Lord, forgive me for saying it. But I actually asked him if he believed that Jesus Christ was his Lord and Savior. Unlike what happened to me when the gun didn't go off, I had it pointed to the back of his head and it went off. It went through his spine and it went out the side of his face. High caliber pistol, so 44 I believe it was. Yeah, I just committed a murder. You know, I just killed somebody who I thought did me wrong, and I was justifying it by what he had done to me for years. But no kidding, I turned around, I go to walk out the bedroom, and I promise you, wind's picking up. You hear me, the last thing I remember is I heard his breath escape his body, and it said, like this wind, you know, and it knocked me to my knees. It went through me like something I can't explain. The only thing I know, it had to be his spirit. It had to be his soul. And I'm not saying it was a good soul either, because it did not feel right. It felt bad. It was terrible. kind of funny how the wind was perfectly calm, and after I started telling my testimony, it just started blowing like crazy. And I'm in a giant tent that we're going to have this festival coming up. But yeah, what I was saying, I got up off my knees and I knew that I had to do something. I think after I gave my senses back to me, I had to either run or get the police involved. So I remember going to the Frigidaire and I got a big bottle of champagne and I drank it down, you know, and I get on the phone and I call 911 and I said, you know, I just killed somebody. And they're like, what? You know, I'm like, yeah. Well, where are you? And in the state of mind that I was at the time, I did not know where I was. I said, can't you track me? She's like, yeah. And growing up in Murfreesboro, I knew pretty much all the police because I went to school with them. So I go out on the front porch and I take the clip out of the gun. I set it down there at the end of the porch and I take the gun and I sit over here at the other end of the porch. And I'm waiting on the law. Sure enough, deputy comes. So I know the guy. He walks up to me and he says, Michael, what you done? I just point toward the bedroom. He said, well, don't move. I said, the gun's right there. He said, all right, don't touch it. He goes in and what seemed like forever, he comes back out. And he says, go ahead and put your hands behind your head, Michael. He said, you did it this time, didn't you? Yeah. Okay. January 17th of 1996, I was charged with first-degree murder. I was booked into the Rutherford County Jail. I had $1 million bond. Of course, I explained the reason why and everything that I had done, the reason behind it. I stayed in the county jail for 18 months. But what I want to point out is one proof right here that I know God's real. Okay, after I got booked in, I'm sitting there on the bunk. The window in the cells, you know, they go a long way. Sun's coming in from it. It's shining down on the table over here, and I'm laying in the bunk, single man because I'm murdered. Right onto a Bible. I had been crying terribly. My life was fixing to change forever, and I knew that I might even die over this, death penalty or whatever. Shining on the Bible. I get up, pick the Bible up, and I throw it. And I curse God. I tell him how awful he is about why he let all this happen to me. And here I am at a crossroads. That Bible landed by the toilet and it was open. It was laying on the pages open. I don't know, I might have sat there for 2 or 3 more days before I think I even urinated on it. You know? I pick it up. Think I'm going to court. Right before that court that morning. I pick it up. And I look at it. First thing I see, it's in Isaiah 42, 6 and 7. Brief summary of it. I, the Lord, have called you in righteousness. I will hold your hand and keep thee as a light in the covenant to the Gentiles. It goes on to say that he will, I'm trying to remember. To open blind eyes, to bring out prisoners from the prison, and those that sit in darkness from the prison house. Let me read it. I'm like, wow. Prophecy right there. I didn't know at the time what prophecy was or even had any clue about it. All I know that God's cruel. There it is. Yeah, right. Put the book down. After several months, 18 months in exact, of being in jail. Everybody knows how jail is. It's terrible. I get a sentence, 25 years at 100%, which means I have to do a minimum. I will do 21 years, 3 months, 18 days. So many hours and minutes. You used to know it. Well, that's what I got. They dropped it down to second degree murder. They dug into his past. They seen where he was only discharged from the military for attempt to commit a sodomy on a little boy. He was an habitual pedophile. He was so bad that it didn't warrant me getting a life sentence or death row, because I was charged with first degree murder. It was a capital offense, which second degree is class A. I'm introduced into the penal system now. I'm introduced into prison. Never been to prison before, except for the life that I was living before I got to prison. I'm on a chain bus. The day comes. Pack your stuff. You're going to classifications. I go to classifications there in Nashville. It was Charles Bass at the time. They classify me to Attorney Center, Industrial Prison and Farm. And I remember going to that prison shackled on that chain bus that here we go. This is gonna be something here. I'm scared to death, kid. I'm a kid. Pull over the hill there when you come into it, and I remember there was just like a giant black cloud, and the rest of the sky is beautiful, and it's just over the prison. And I see inmates that's got privileges, cutting grass, and I'm like, wow, this is a dark place. I know that it's filled with evil. And I get off the chain bus, get there into intake, doors come open, welcome home. Very terrible. I ended up a product of my environment. I ended up being just as bad as everybody else. I'd been stabbed. I'd stabbed people. I had got involved in a gang. I ended up being the state president over this gang for a long time. Seen people murdered. Seen men raped. Before y'all ask, no, I was never sexually assaulted in prison because, the first thing I did was get on the weight pile. So there at one time, I was a pretty big guy. I lived this life so long that, wow, you never believe there's going to come a day that you're going to get released. You say to yourself, this date on this timesheet, no, I'll never live that long. I'll either get killed or the food will kill me. Well, I'm sitting in there, and I get out from Attorney Center. I didn't spend all my time in Attorney Center. As a matter of fact, I've been to every prison across the state of Tennessee. But I ended up back at Attorney Center as my day came closer. The day came. 21 years, 18 months. Or 21 years, 3 months, and 18 days later. Mr. Brown, pack your stuff. You're being released. We don't like you around here. We don't want you back around here. So get your SHIT, head out that front door, and we don't ever want to see you again. That's what you get. I'm like, no way. Well, somebody very dear in my life, I'm not going to say his name, come pick me up with him and his wife. Believe it or not, he was a celebrity at one time. He had been in my life. He was married to my mom. And, 2007, he started corresponding with me. And very, very influential man in radio. Very popular. Knows everybody in country music, in rock and roll. I think he even toured with the Rolling Stones, believe it or not, in Europe. Yeah, it's crazy. They pick me up, and I go off a new life with them. Uh, I don't know what's going on. You know, I'm in a new Jeep Grand Cherokee, and things are going off in it, and he's talking to people through the car. I don't know how to do this. I am institutionalized. I am. I don't know if I'm scared, because prison, it kind of builds up your bravery. But all I know is that I was just in a time capsule for 21 years. I'm stuck in 96, you know. I'm here now, and I'm free, and I don't know what to do with myself. And here I go to a family that is influential. Their house is humongous. They have an adopted daughter, wonderful kid, wonderful kid. Plays the violin. You know, I think that soothed me. I'd be sitting in the room that they gave me, and I would hear her playing her violin. It calmed me. I don't know how to get on computers. I don't know how to start a new life. I don't know how to live. I got people around me. I'm talking to country music stars, believe it or not. And how do you go from this to that? And, we're having dinner with people from England. Big houses, nice cars. I'm in button-up shirts, and I'm so out of place, it's unreal. And everybody's looking at me, you know. Well, look at him, he's so handsome, he's so big, he's so... No. I'm a mess, you know. So I jump into it, I guess you could say. Couldn't stay there long. I don't care who's around me. I had just been locked in a cage, and you know I'm ready to do it. I'm ready to roll with Satan. You know, I'm ready to get girls. I'm ready to drink alcohol. Hell, I'll do drugs. You know, of course, addiction was in prison with me too. But I go to live in Tennessee. I go back to Laverne with my cousin. I'm working for the gas company. I'm doing good. I'm making good money, you know. I'm getting motorcycles, which is one of my passions. I'm trying this relationship thing, right? All while I'm an alcoholic. And I met a girl who just happened to be the daughter of the owner of the company, right? Well, that didn't work, because for one thing, the owners of the company, they didn't like me, really. They just liked me because my dad had worked there and died there, you know. My real dad, he was one of the best backhoe operators there in Laverne, in Tennessee, as far as I'm concerned. And he put all his training into my cousin. He gave him the gift of operating a backhoe. Negative thoughts in my brain, I got nothing from the man. My cousin got it all. Negative thoughts. I'm glad he did it. To my cousin, I love you, man. You're a good guy. Yeah, the relationship didn't work. I'm pressured by her parents. I'm drinking every day. I'm being an all-around a-hole. You know, I'm starting to get in the groove of things, and it's me, and that's all there is. So I leave there and go into another relationship. Okay, that's not working because she's a Christian. She's a beautiful lady. 3 awesome sons. Ain't working. She don't want that around her kids. I don't blame her. Leave there. I go to East Tennessee. I go to live with a good friend of mine who I was actually in prison with for a number of years. And you know what? He's not drinking. I'm still drinking to the point where, I get into another relationship. I'm trying to find love. I can't find it. Drinking so much that even my buddy's like, he don't want anything to do with me. He wants me to leave. Pretty much. I left and went to move with this girl who I thought we were going to get married. But, the day of our wedding, or that morning, I wake up in the creek bed. I didn't make it moonshine all night. Yeah. She kicked me out. Long story short, I ended up in Johnson City. I ended up in a rehab. Good people, I'm not going to say they're not, but this is my life now of addiction. This is my life that is full of heartache once again, okay? So, to skip through some things, I was introduced into a drug called methamphetamine. Of course, it's around everywhere. Get into another relationship. She just happens to be in drug court. We get our own place, and all of a sudden one day we just want to go on the run. So we pack all our stuff and we head to south. I become somebody that I never thought I'd be on this level. Addiction caused me to Lucifer. We're drinking every day, we're doing drugs, and we are literally beating each other up physically. I had harmed her so badly that I became my father. I abused this girl. I'm sorry. She about bit my ear off. I busted her mouth so bad twice. She couldn't even talk. She eventually got to where we did something where the police got called and she was ready to go to jail, come back to Tennessee to get away from me. And I do not blame her. Of course, her life was different, but it was a similar life where abuse is all she ever knew, by men before me. She's thinking that I'm talking to men that she used to be in a relationship. She's thinking that I'm with women that I'm not, even though I was with some women, because. But anyway, she gets locked up. I have her car, I have her phone, I have everything she owns. She leaves it. I absolutely flipped out. So I end up back in Tennessee with some people where I'm doing methamphetamine every day. And, okay, this drug's terrible, all right? I'm thinking that they're trying to kill each other. I'm thinking that they're trying to kill me. I'm in the woods, hiding. I don't know what I'm doing, all right? Police get called, all right? That's one time. I get out, get a public intoxication, go back, do the same thing over again, all right? This time 10 times worse, okay? I am intravenously shooting methamphetamine so much that I don't even know when I'm shooting. Get locked back up again. I believe in my heart these people were trying to kill me. I get to the jail and I'm seeing demons. I'm seeing snakes come out of the toilet, man. I'm going through scenarios of People trying to kill me in jail. They're trying to gas me through the ventilation system. They put me in, police put me in a suicide cell. Okay? They're gassing me through the vent. I don't know what I was given. I don't know if it was that drug flocka or whatever they call. I believe it was. I believe it was gravel, something like that. But I'm shaking violently. I'm convulsing. Spit's coming out. I'm using the bathroom on myself. I am on the door of this jail, screaming, God, please save me. Please. This is where I am. Jesus, I recognize you. Come and save my soul, because I'm fixing to die. Everybody in my life that I had met since I have come out of prison, I have destroyed. I have did terrible things to. Please shine your grace on me. A couple of days later, I'm released. Still kind of seeing things. Never forget the sergeant of the jail that walks me to the door, and he says, Michael, he said, of all my years of being a sergeant here at this jail, I have never in my life seen somebody as inebriated and has schizophrenia or just plain up crazy like you. And I see a lot of meth addicts come through here. He said, son, I'm going to get a call and you're going to be dead. And I'm going to have to come get you in your body. He said, please, for the grace of God, walk down to this hospital and get help. I believed him. And you know, I put my dirty clothes on that I come in with, and I'm walking down the road, and I am starving, and I want to give thanks to Chick-fil-A. Thank you. I know they're faith-based. I walk in there and I say, I'm homeless, I have nothing, can I please have some food? Will you please feed me? The little young girl working there looked at me and she said, yes. She come out with chicken sandwich, some fries, and a large Coke. She said, God loves you. I said, I think so. I ate it. That little girl, bless her heart. I don't know what I'm going to do for Chick-fil-A, but do something for them one day. I gather my stuff and I get to walking again, and I get to the hospital and I get in there and I'm still seeing stuff. They taking my blood pressure, it's off the charts. They said, well, you got to get help. And they send me to a mental hospital, of course. I get to a mental hospital and everybody's just like me around me. You know. What am I going to do next? What am I going to do next? So, believe it or not, I used to work at a recovery program there in Bucksnort, Tennessee. I called the guy from this mental hospital and I'm like, man, I need help. I'm going to die. He's like, you know, you're always welcome back here, and I want to give a shout out to Safe Harbor. Believe it or not, they they're good people. They'll help you. I don't know what's going on now with them with this coronavirus and the way they do the program. I know it's a work-based thing. But I try to get there. I didn't know it at the time. Another part right here, the proof God is real, is the counselor lady there at the hospital come to me and she says, we can't get you to Bucksnort. You can't afford the bus ticket because, they got so much money and they just ran out. I'm like, well, I guess I'm going to be released back on the streets. Here we go again, but I know one thing, I'm not going back to that house. Well, she comes to me and she says, well, we got this place called Hope Retreat. I'm like, I don't care. I'll take anything. Give me the phone number. She gives me the phone number, and I guess if I called one time, I called 1,000. And bless her heart, Pastor Rebecca Maxwell is on the 90%. She's on the other end of this phone, right? And I'll call and say, you got a bed for me? Rebecca's like, yes, Michael, we got a bed for you. 10 minutes later, you still got that bed? Yes, Michael, we got a bed for you. Got to the point where I thought that it was getting real close to where if I call back, she's going to be like, Michael, we don't have a bed for you. But thank God that didn't happen because that wasn't supposed to happen. And they came. Rebecca and 2 other seminary students picked me up, and I'm headed off to my new life in Sneedville, Tennessee, Hope Retreat, the ranch, of coming into a life that I always put behind me. I always thought it hurt me. I'm introduced now to Christ. I'm introduced into learning everything I can learn about Him. I never thought that I would be here like I am. Okay. And I've been here, not on the program, but I've been here 7 months. When I got here, I want to say that I was leaving addiction, but I was still trying to find love, I think. You know how programs are. Well, people are, they're in there together, and this is co-ed, right? So I'm going to give one more testimony on how I know God's real right now. They probably don't want me to talk about this, but I got to talk about it, because it's on my heart. And it's proof that I know God's real. I met somebody at the hospital. Okay. She gets here. I am like, I don't even want to mess with this girl. I'm not talking to her. I'm still trying to compensate here. Okay, we start talking for too long. Get kind of serious, I think. And she's very strong-willed, beautiful girl. Strong-willed. Didn't want to be here, I don't think. And as I'm coming into this time in the program, I want to be here. I know if I go back out there, I'm going to die. There's a chance I'm taking a risk, and I don't want to do it. But then again, I'm coming to love this girl, and you know what? I'm almost to the point where I'm going to leave with you. Well, that didn't happen, and the day came where she had to go, and I was faced with, do I go with her and protect her and try to, or do I go with her and harm her more? What do I do? I stay here, and Dr. Maxwell knew the feelings that I had for this girl, but he also knew a great more that I would never know. He had to make me grow on this, and he made me ride in the car with him to take her to her point of destination. to leave. I cried the whole way, held her hand, knew inside my heart at that time that she's going to die. She's going to go back to addiction. She's not going to get help. She's going to disappear off the face of the planet. And I really deeply cared for her. Even though I might not have showed it so much, I tried to do the best I could. Bring her coffee in the morning. I'd write her notes every morning. But it just wasn't in the cards. I look back at her, and for the first time in my life, after getting out of prison, I was scared to death. I just lost somebody there, I thought. So, I get back here. I try to not think about it, even though I got a couple of things to keep. But one thing I did do is I prayed for her every day. I still do, but I'm going to let you in on prayer. I pray that God keeps her alive. I pray that God builds a relationship with her. And above all, that God finds it in his heart to direct happiness inside of her, where she can find somebody that will equal up to the love that he has for her. Because it wasn't me. And proof is I believe that happened, and thank God for it. Thank you, Jesus. She's okay, so that's all I asked for. So there's your proof on that. I wish all the best in all life can bring you, that you continue to be happy and glorify God. And I think through my prayers, I would like to think I gave that to her. I hope that she has that. But anyway, I'm here. I'm going through the program. And you know what? I got some stinking thinking in my mind. I'm still thinking, these people, they really don't love me, right? I don't trust them. I don't understand it at the time of how their trust and their love is showed in a way to help me grow that is not what you do, what you want to do, and if you get it, you get it, okay? No. Dr. Maxwell's going to say, hey, I'm going to grow you, and you're going to grow like this, and you know what? You're not going to sit around, okay? You're going to do this, you're going to do that. We need you to do this because you know what? I mean, I did come here with nothing. I mean, I do have to work. I do have to pay for my schooling, and but also I am learning to grow, because at the time that I didn't know it, is this man is finding me purpose to live and live it and know Jesus and know His love and teach me to hear Him. A lot of people out there might think that's crazy, but I'm telling you, I hear God talk to me. He directs me in all my ways. Been tough. I'm a fighter. I come from years of murder and violence, and now I'm here, and I got to be so humble that you wouldn't believe. Because I got to do what Jesus did. I have to love like I've never loved before. And that's love outside of myself. Instead of loving myself, I have to show the love to others and forgiveness and kindness. And I've become a part of a body that I struggle with, and hey, Satan's coming in. He's still trying to talk and whisper to me. Getting to a point now where he don't say nothing to me. It doesn't matter. But been a few incidences where I've fought pretty good, and I've got into it. I've rebelled. Took a walk, prayed the whole time. And I've come to the realization that everything I went through, everything I go through, everything that ever was, brought me here. And that these people, Dr. Maxwell, Rebecca, don't actually know what they have shown me, given me, because they haven't seen what I went through. If I could project my memories inside that camera, you'd turn it off. You couldn't bear to watch it. I am transformed by the Holy Spirit to a man that smiles more, even though I'm a little messed up here. So many things they've done. They saved my life. God saved my life. They don't take the credit for it, but we have bad days some days, And now instead of storming off, I just hug them. Thank you. Thank you for everything you do. People can talk about you. Done it themselves. People can belittle you. Say things around this community to hurt you. See, I also know a man they did that to. And I know what he went through. Okay? But you keep on trucking. You keep on trying to save souls. Save lives. People can say, well, these people up here, they're freaks, man. They do this and they do that. No, let me tell you something. These people, as you say, took a wretch like me and directed him into a path where he knows his destination is way different. It's a beautiful thing, and you don't have to keep on with so many studies, though. But I want, in closing, to give all thanks to God. I want to give all glory to Jesus and all glory to Christ. And I want to give thanks to Dr. Maxwell and Rebecca. And I want to tell you that I love you. And that I will go to the ends of the earth. I might scratch a little bit and claw. But sit down some days when you're having a bad day, maybe. Look at the tape. Look at me and know how I feel. And know that I'm a new person. And through Jesus Christ, you help me with that. So, here I am. I'm on Facebook thing. I'm told every day about, I got to get these things out, and I've been doing it. Trust me, it don't stop with me. No, sir. If you see this video and you want to talk to me and you want to praise the Lord together, and you're going through a bad time, you need some help, please let me talk to you, because I hope that I can show you some of the things that I've been showed here, and maybe one day you get to a place like this where I am. This is my testimony. This is the proof that I have, that I've been through, that all the people that I met and wronged, I'm sorry. Forgive me. Soul ties cut too with the bad things that I've done. But I really don't know where else I'm going except to say that I am a survivor, and now I am a new man in Christ, and I give all glory to Him. He is awesome. He's phenomenal. And I thank Hope Retreat. And if you don't know who Hope Retreat is, please, you can get them on YouTube at Hope Retreat the Ranch. Look it up if you got problems. You see all the things on my YouTube thing. Thank you for listening to me. And I hope I touched something in you, and maybe it'll direct you where you need to come to Jesus, because that's the most important thing. God bless you.